Dr. Jeremy Weiss here with Rise 25. I am here with Jerry Nylund, and she is the founder of Trade Press Services. You can check it out, tradepressservices.com. And then basically, they help B2B business with their marketing, the right message, the right medium. And Jerry is a wealth of knowledge, so I always love hearing her take on everything. And this is from your specific post about marketing ROI. So I figured, Jerry, we could start with what is marketing ROI, and we'll talk about how people can use it. So what is it?
Great. What it is the elephant in the room.
Mm.
ROI, of course, means return on investment. And most bean counters or, people in the top executive suite, chief financial officers, CEOs, they want to know that their marketing spend is getting a return on investment. And then everybody tries to jump through hoops to prove it, and it's not so easy.
Yeah. So what do you say to that? How can people measure it?
Well, I think that you have to have the whole picture. You have to understand why it's important to define your marketing ROI. And it's also important to know that you want to look at other alternatives, other ways of measuring that may not be dollar related. Mm-hmm. You can't simply do marketing activities with the expectation that you're going to get X clients, X revenue, X sales, X profit, because it just doesn't work that way, especially in the B2B world. In B2C world, it's a little different because you can advertise and you can do promotions and you can measure what people buy and what they spend. But
someone buys they buy a $10 widget. They can make a decision very, very quickly. Like, okay, I saw this ad, I bought this $10 widget. But for B2B, it's a lot more nuanced because it's a lot of relationship based. Right?
Well, it is. And also it's due to the fact with B2B, sometimes there's a much longer sales cycle. So it takes time to build up the engagement and the responses from prospects and customers. And also there tends to be lack of communication between marketing and sales. So marketing puts out brochures, messaging, outreach, but the connection with the salespeople, they don't always report the results or the experiences they have as a result of marketing. So there are also a lot of touch points along the way. So there can be a disconnect. So really identifying what that return on investment is can be really difficult and challenging. Another point I'd like to make is that ROI isn't the be-all, end-all. Sometimes companies just have to realize they have to invest in marketing, whether they can show actual numbers as the return on investment. I mean, you have to invest in technology. You have to update your computer systems. You have to invest in maintenance of your property or your equipment. But can you show an ROI because of that? No, it's a necessary expense of conducting business. And I wish that more executives would take that into consideration when they put together a marketing plan, a marketing budget.
Yeah, that's what I wrote before you said it, is like a touch points is a big thing. Like the more touch points you could have, and not all those touch points are going to lead to necessarily a phone call, but they may have 6 different touch points right from marketing. So maybe talk a little about what are the marketing that you're helping people put out that just increases the touch points.
So if you look at it in that perspective, marketing is a necessity, whether you can demonstrate ROI or not. So why is it a necessity? Because there are some key performance indicators that will help you grow the business. So marketing helps build brand awareness. It helps with customer engagement. It helps with generating referrals, newsletter signups, increasing social media followers. So these are some of the types of marketing KPIs that you might get where it might not necessarily show an ROI.
Yeah. Yeah. And people, I encourage people to check out, you can go to tradepressservice.com if you're not on the page right now, /marketing-ROI. And there's a laundry list of, the metrics, not necessarily financial metrics. And you listed a few: the brand awareness, the reputation, the visibility, the innovation. And there's many more you have listed there that aren't like, okay, direct client, but they're all valuable leading to that direct client.
Right.
So, you talk about more than just a numbers game. Okay. And marketing expenditures hit profit and loss statements. So talk a little bit about what you mean by more than just a numbers game.
Well, I think that marketing expenditures are just that. Even though they're an expense item on the profit and loss statement, they're not the whole story, because marketing builds visibility and enhances your competitive edge in the marketplace and strengthens your position and demonstrates your thought leadership. And all of these things working together will help grow the company. And I think that if you look at it as a numbers game, you're missing the boat. And as I said in the very beginning, this is what the elephant in the room is, because people don't want to acknowledge it. There's a conversation. It's a balancing act. What can we measure? What can't we measure? We know we need to be able to justify the marketing spend and calculate budgets and benchmark the competition and hold ourselves accountable, with the marketing budgetary process. And at the same time, we have to realize that those KPIs are just as important as the return on investment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a long-term strategy. Someone can't put out, oh, I'm going to try this one article and see if it works. It's like, it has to be consistent, and it has to be multifaceted, and it has to be over a period of time for it to actually work.
Yeah. We talked about that, I think, in one of our previous interviews. In marketing, we say test, test, test. So you want to move forward with a variety of initiatives all at the same time and figure out what needs to be tweaked, what's working, what isn't working. And in doing that, you're more likely to be able to get to the return on investment that you're looking for.
Yeah.
You need to consider, what data is available to you, what data isn't available to you. How do you tap into that data? So in putting together your marketing plans and programs, not only do you want to involve the salespeople in that discussion, but the customer service people who deal with the customers on a frontline basis, and also the technology department, the IT department that says, here's what we can measure, here's what we can't, and if you tweak your program this way, you might be able to get more information that's valuable to you.
Yeah. Jerry, as always, thank you. Everyone should check out tradepressservices.com, the article Marketing ROI. What is it? How to use it, and other resources and blogs. And Jerry, it's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.